What's up guys? Welcome back to Rackoflam. So growing up in a Chinese household, my parents would often make us congee for breakfast. It was also something that they served to us when we weren't feeling too well or just didn't have an appetite. If you've never had or heard of congee before, it's basically rice porridge that we refer to as jook in Cantonese. It can be eaten plain or with multiple toppings and fillings. My parents usually made plain congee with a number of side dishes, which reminds me, my dad also made some bangin' pork bone congee that I'm gonna have to chase him down for the recipe one day. Now with modernized kitchen gadgets that make cooking more efficient, I began making congee directly in the Instant Pot. With just one press of a button, just set it and forget it and return to the ultimate Chinese comfort food. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make fish congee, which is my go-to variation because it's a great way to squeeze in some protein. And frankly, flavors are so subtle that you can still top your bowl off with just about anything. So keep watching if you want to learn how I make fish congee in the Instant Pot and 5 of my favorite toppings. And if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so what I have here is one of the best inventions ever. I'm just gonna remove the pot and we're gonna put some rice in there. So I'm just gonna go for 1 cup of jasmine rice. And we're gonna go wash these. So I wash my rice about 3 to 4 times when I make congee or rice. I'm curious to know what you guys do. Because I spoke with some people and they like to wash their rice until the water runs clear. But I actually don't think it's necessary, but it would be interesting to find out what everybody does. So I washed it about 3 times. I think this is sufficient enough. So we installed a filtration system in the home. This is what I use when I cook. And I'm just gonna fill this up with 4 cups of water, and then I'm gonna add another 2.5 cups. I'm going to be filling this up with another 2.5 cups of water, so it'll be a total of 6.5 cups. Feel free to add a little more water if you like your congee more hay, as the Chinese would say. I actually don't like my congee too watery, so 6.5 cups is good enough for me. Okay, let's get all the grains in the water. And in this, we're gonna be adding a large thumb of ginger. And again, you can adjust it to taste, but I like my congee a little spicy, so I like to add a lot of ginger into it. So before I put it into the congee, I'm actually going to be smashing it with my cleaver. The Chinese call this pak. So this actually helps bring out the aromas of the ginger. So I'm gonna throw this into the congee. So I am gonna be using a fillet of swai in my congee. I get 4 fillets for $2.99 a pound from my local Asian supermarket. I do like using this because it has a very subtle fish flavor, so the congee doesn't come out tasting too fishy. tasting or smelling too fishy rather. So I add one fillet in my congee, but feel free to add more if you'd like. This is gonna go in here. And I'm also gonna be adding 1 tablespoon of fish sauce. You can add more or less if you want. I typically add some while it's cooking, and I'll adjust according to taste afterwards. And now this is gonna go back into the Instant Pot. I'm gonna plug this baby in. We're gonna close the lid. And we're going to hit porridge. And that is it, my friends. Set it and forget it. Make your life a little easier by making some congee in your Instant Pot. Oh, one thing you must not forget is to make sure that this is in the sealing position. All right, it's only 1 more minute left. After the 20 minutes is up, I'll wait for it to naturally release, and when this floating valve is completely down, I'll open it up. If you don't want to wait and want to eat it immediately, you can certainly push this steam valve to venting position and let it release pressure that way. But I'm just going to let it sit here until the floating valve goes down, since I'm not in an urgent need to eat it right now. So after about 30 minutes, the floating valve finally dropped, and now I can show you how the congee looks. One thing you'll notice when you open up your Instant Pot is the fish is still in a whole piece, but what I do is I just stir it around, and you can see that it melts directly into the congee. So stir it up, break the fish apart, and get a good taste of it to see if you want to add a little more fish sauce, some salt, whatever you like. But I typically add some white pepper and sesame oil in my congee. So as you can see, it looks pretty good. The rice is pretty broken up, which is how I like my congee. And it's not too thick, not too liquidy. So this was 6.5 cups. If you like it a little thicker, then I would suggest cutting down the water a bit. And if you like it more hay or watery, then add a little bit more water. But it's gonna be some trial and error, depending on what your preferences are, so. This congee is smelling so good. Now I'm going to show you how I assemble it and what sort of toppings I put on top of the congee. Looks pretty good after 5 minutes. It's crispy and not burnt. Can't wait to top my congee off with that. this is what we call 1,000-year-old egg, or peidan. So if you've never seen this before, please don't be alarmed because it's quite dark. Let me get that out of your sight. So this is how a 1,000-year-old egg looks. This is probably gonna freak you out, but Chinese people actually love to eat this. This is how it looks after you cut it open, which is probably gonna freak you out a bit more, but I actually really like it. It's definitely an acquired taste. If you do get an opportunity to try this, I would recommend that you do, but I don't guarantee that you're gonna like it. That's another topping that can go on your congee. There you go. Now, if you'd like, you may add a little more white pepper and sesame oil, but these are just some toppings that we like to put on top of our congee, and I hope that you enjoy.